The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Lesson number 2, part 2 from your book Beehive. So today we are going to study detailed explanation of this chapter. Now what is there in this chapter? As the name goes as the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan. Now who was Bismillah Khan? Bismillah, in the name of Allah. Okay, in the name of God. The meaning of the name is this. So the story is about Bismillah Khan, how he worked hard over Shehnai, how he brought Shehnai to the classical stage, and how he invented different ragas, tunes to Shehnai, and people started loving his work so much. So how he was born, how he started working over Shehnai, how he became a very well-known Shehnai player, about the awards that he got. He also played Shehnai for the first time when we got our independence on the Red Fort, and afterwards it was continued with the speech of Jawaharlal Nehru named as Tryst with Destiny, Bhagya Se Sakshatkar, and then it goes further as the awards, what were the awards that were given to Bismillah Khan, his achievements basically. Then it is told that Bismillah Khan was a true Hindustani. How he was a true Hindustani? Basically at times the question is also there, how can you say that Bismillah Khan was a true Hindustani? This question generally comes from the chapter. So this all the things we are going to study in the chapter. The chapter will begin with the Aurangzeb banning Pungi and the Barber introducing Shehnai, and then further on with the story of Bismillah Khan. He was born, and being a 5-year child he used to play in the state of Dumrao, and then further he went to his maternal uncle's house where he started playing Shehnai. He was watching his maternal uncle playing Shehnai, and he was sitting there for long hours looking at him like, wow, he plays Shehnai so well. Bismillah Khan was very inspired by his maternal uncle. Everyone in the family of Bismillah Khan belonged to the family of musicians only. His grandfather, his father, they all were musicians in royal court. Royal court as in Darbar. So let's begin with detailed explanation line by line. And it is written about Bismillah Khan that he was a maestro in his field. It means that he was a master. He was brilliant at his work. He used to play Shehnai very nicely. So the first paragraph begins with that Aurangzeb banned the playing of Pungi at his royal residence just because of the shrill sound of Pungi. Royal residence, his court, Darbar, where he used to sit. Pungi was an instrument. It had a very shrill and unpleasant sound. Unpleasant as in that is not good at hearing, जिसको सुनने में अच्छा नहीं लगता है हम लोगों को. And shrill means very sharp, तीखी, बहुत ज़्यादा तीखी. So it was very bad at hearing. Therefore Aurangzeb banned it. That from the time nobody will play this Pungi anywhere around, especially in his court. So from that time Pungi was banned. So reeded as in wind instruments are referred to as reeded instruments here, that are made up of wood, sugarcane, that stick, and just like flute, etc. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers, people who used to play these sort of wooden instruments that were played by blowing air into it. Pungi became the generic name for these people. Generic name means a basic name that is given to a whole class or as a group of whole. When we give a name to a particular thing, that is known as generic name. As in, if sometimes we go to a shop to purchase toothpaste, but in general what we are habitual of telling, we'll go to that shop and tell to the shopkeeper that bhaiya kindly give me Colgate, give me the Pepsodent one, or give me the Close-Up one, or give me the Patanjali one. Or that depends upon you that what you are going to use. But here you said that you want Colgate. Now Colgate is a brand name, okay, it's a brand name, but we are using it as a generic name. Now we have been so habitual that we subconsciously we forget that Colgate is another brand for toothpaste and Pepsodent and rest are another brand for toothpaste. So we must ask for toothpaste rather than asking for a Colgate just because it's a brand. So sometimes we give a generic name, a common name to a whole class, and if we'll find something similar to it, we will start calling it also with a particular name. So Pungi became a generic name, a common name for these reeded noisemaker, people who used to play flute and all these instruments, and that too very badly. So for all these people, Pungi was given the name, like whosoever was playing very bad sound was called as Pungi. As in, if sometimes it happens that in your house also your siblings would be singing and they would be playing something, and generally what we say, बस कर भाई कौवे आ जाएंगे, and that because we are giving that particular statement for कि the person is singing very badly. इतना बेसुरा गा रहे हो कि बेटा कौवे आ जाएंगे. So we also comment like this. The similar way it was also commented that time. If anyone was singing badly, कोई भी बेसुरा गाता था तो the statement was पुंगी की तरह मत बज. A barber who had the access to royal palace, means this barber was permitted to enter into the palace and do the chores he was. So this barber thought that he will improve the tonal quality of pungi. He thought कि जो पुंगी है वो उसमें कुछ चेंजेस कर उसकी साउंड को इम्प्रूव करेगा, उसकी जो टोनल क्वालिटी है, जो ट्यून की क्वालिटी है, उसको वो बार इम्प्रूव करेगा. सो व्हाट ही डिड, ही चोज अ लॉन्ग पाइप that was hollow from inside and he made several holes over it. ठीक है, एक लंबा सा पाइप लिया जो अंदर से खोखला था और उसके ऊपर कुछ होल्स बना दिए. यू पीपल वुड हैव सीन फ्लूट, बांसुरी, फ्लूट सबने देखी होगी. सिमिलर टू इट, सो ही टुक अ लॉन्ग hollow pipe, empty pipe from inside and little broader than pungi. Afterwards, after designing it, when he played it by opening and closing the holes, it protruded, it was giving a very nice sound. It was giving a very pleasant sound and everyone loved it. He did the instrument before royalty as in front of king, queen, princess and all the people who were living in the palace. जो राजमहल में लोग रहते थे उनके सामने उसने उस इंस्ट्रूमेंट को बजाया. Everyone was impressed because this time the instrument had a very melodious sound. By the time the instrument was not given any name. It was just that the barber took a hollow pipe, he made several holes, he designed it, he started playing it and by chance it created a very melodious sound. So till this time Shehnai was not named. Now how Shehnai got its name? It is a journal question from this chapter and it is usually there in your exam time even. So Shehnai got its name as in first time it was played in the court of a Shah. Shah king, ruler. Mughal emperors were given the title as Shah. So first time it was played in front of a Shah. So from there it got its Shah. And first time it was played by a barber, that is Nai. So from there it got its name Nai. Shehnai. पहली बार राजा के दरबार, पहली बार शाह के दरबार में बजाई गई तो शह. एंड पहली बार बार्बर के थ्रू बजाई गई, therefore Nai. तो Shehnai. Combiningly we get a name as Shehnai. So the answer is how did Shehnai get its name? So Shehnai got its name because first time it was played in the court of a Shah and was played by a barber, that is Nai. So by joining both the things we get the name as Shehnai. On your page 20 you can check out the picture that is given on the top. One side it is Pungi and another side it is Shehnai. You can see that Shehnai is a little slim and trim version of Pungi. Pungi is little fatty and Shehnai is little thin. This was the difference. This was physical difference. You can see the shape, you can see out here. The shape you can check it out here on your page number 20. How Pungi looked and how was Shehnai. Now the sound of Shehnai began to be considered as auspicious. Auspicious means something that is holy, something that is considered to bring good fortune. कुछ अच्छा लेके आने वाली sound, कुछ अच्छी vibes लेकर आने वाली sound. So in the beginning Shehnai was played in the temples and marriages and it was an indispensable part, means very important part of North Indian weddings. North Indian weddings were not considered complete till the time Shehnai was played in those weddings. So the sound of Shehnai was considered so holy that in the beginning it was only limited till temples and to North Indian weddings. In the beginning the Shehnai was a part of Naubat. Naubat is an Urdu word which means traditional group. So in the beginning Shehnai was a part of Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments that was found at royal court. So in the royal court there were some instruments that were kept, around 9 instruments, a group of 9 instruments were kept. Whenever these kings and all wanted some sort of refreshment they used to go and the players used to play for them. Shehnai was also part of Naubat in the royal courts and it was kept in their place where all the rest of the instruments were also kept. And it was generally played in the temples and marriages only. The credit for bringing Shehnai onto a classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Because of his hard work only, Shehnai came to a classical stage where we could see it being played on the music platforms. Leaving these marriages and temples, Shehnai started to be played at rest of the things also. Okay, so in the next paragraph, paragraph number 3, it is written that Bismillah Khan, when he was a 5-year-old child, he used to play Gilli Danda in the state of Dumrao, that is in Bihar. What is Gilli Danda? Gilli Danda is a game that you people can also connect with. There's a long stick and there's a smaller one. The smaller one is shaped in some edgy way at the corners, and then we hit on one side and the stick tumbles around and then falls. And this is played by almost every child when you're in school. What you're doing, you are playing with your razor pencil, you are making a stand, your eraser, and then your second eraser or your sharpener, then you're keeping a scale over it, then you keep a paper or an eraser on the corner and you hit it from one side and the eraser tumbles and falls down. This is sort of related to the game Gilli Danda. If you have not played it, this is a very common game. If you'll go to village side in rural areas, it's a very common game. But if you have not played this, stick one is this scale one is done by almost everyone. So Bismillah Khan, when he was a 5-year-old young boy, he used to play this Gilli Danda in the state of Dumrao, that is in Bihar. He would regularly go to Bihariji temple, sing a song named as Chaita, and he used to get, as a reward, he used to get a laddu of 1.25 kg from the local Maharaja of that place. वो इतना अच्छा उस गाने को गाते थे कि जो लोकल महाराजा थे उस प्लेस के, बिस्मिल्लाह खान को 1.25 kg का लड्डू गिफ्ट के तौर पर दिया करते, एज एक प्राइज के तौर पर दिया करते थे. सो एज अ 5-year-old child, getting anything as a gift is a very big thing. So starting was from there, when he used to go to Bihariji temple. When he was living in Dumrao, he used to go to Bihariji temple, and after singing the song, the local Maharaja was giving him a laddu of 1.25 kg. This story is almost approx 80 years ago, and this boy has traveled to get the highest civilian award of India, that is Bharat Ratna. So from that laddu of 1.25 kg, he has achieved the highest civilian award of India, that is the Bharat Ratna. So you can imagine the journey of Bismillah Khan from this line itself, that from a common boy who was getting laddu after singing a song from local Maharaja as a prize of that weighted 1.25 kg to the person who got the highest civilian award of India, Bharat Ratna. It means something when someone is awarded with this award. So yes, he had that sort of capability in him, that he made his journey from being nothing to something, that we are studying about him today. Born on 21st March 1960. If you have your book out there, you can underline the line given on page number 22, paragraph number 4. In the beginning only it is written there that he was born on 21st March 1916. And Bismillah Khan belongs to the family of well-known musicians. In his family already there were many musicians, his ancestors, his grandfather, father and rest people also in his family belong to the field of musicians only. His grandfather Rasool Bux Khan was a Shehnai player, Shehnai Nawaz in the court of Bhojpur's king. तो जो भोजपुर के राजा थे उनके दरबार में जो बिस्मिल्लाह खान के दादाजी थे वो वहाँ जाके शहनाई बजाया करते थे, और वो बहुत ही फेमस शहनाई बजाने वाले थे उस दरबार के, उस एरिया के. हिज फादर पैगम्बर बक्स एंड रेस्ट ऑफ द एंसेस्टर्स ऑल्सो वर ग्रेट शहनाई प्लेयर्स. बिस्मिल्लाह खान की फैमिली में जो बाकी लोग भी थे, जो उनके पापा थे और जो बाकी के भी उनके परदादा वगैरह रहे थे, वो भी बहुत ही अच्छे शहनाई प्लेयर्स रहे थे अपने टाइम के. The young boy took to music very early in his life. When he was of 3 in age, his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi. Bismillah Khan was fascinated. Fascinated means he used to love. He was astonished by seeing his uncle playing Shehnai. He used to love his work so much. He used to sit captivated for long hours, means that he was sitting at a place particularly for very long hours, and he used to continuously watch his uncle playing Shehnai. He loved his work to a limit and kept on watching him for long hours. So slowly and steadily, Bismillah Khan started accompanying, started going with his uncle to where he was working. Wherever his maternal uncle used to work, Bismillah Khan also started going with him, and he used to see him working. Ali Bux, the name of the maternal uncle, Ali Bux used to go to Vishnu temple where he was employed as a Shehnai player, and Bismillah Khan also started going with him. As the time passed, Ali Bux started teaching Bismillah Khan also to play Shehnai. Bismillah Khan started getting his lessons of Shehnai from Ali Bux, and slowly and steadily he also started learning it. Now, for the upcoming time, the favorite spots of Bismillah Khan were the temple of Mangla Maiya, the temple of Balaji, and the bank of river Ganga. These were the favorite spot of Bismillah Khan. He used to go at these places and he used to practice Shehnai for long hours. It is written there that these were the favorite spots for this young apprentice to practice in the solitude. As in apprentice, as in learner, someone who is learning, and solitude as in peace. Bismillah Khan was a learner and he used to go at these 2 to 3 places. He used to go to Balaji temple, temple of Mangla Maiya, and to the bank of river Ganga to practice Shehnai. He kept on practicing and he invented different sort of ragas to Shehnai. ऐसी sounds जो Shehnai पर पहले किसी ने भी play नहीं किए थे, वो बिस्मिल्लाह खान ने play करने start किए, उनकी practice की वजह से, उनके hard work की वजह से। और ऐसी ट्यून्स जो जर्नली लोग समझते थे कि शहनाई पर नहीं बजाई जा सकती, वैसी ट्यून्स को भी बिस्मिल्लाह खान ने शहनाई पर बजाया। जस्ट विद हिज कॉन्टिन्यूस हार्ड वर्क उन्होंने शहनाई पर नई नई ट्यून्स को इन्वेंट किया। At the age of 14 years, Bismillah Khan went to a conference with his uncle Ali Baks that was held at Allahabad. He went to Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, after he finished his singing, Ustad Faiz Khan patted his back and said that work hard and you shall make it. This person, Ustad Faiz Khan, would have seen some sort of potential in Ustad Bismillah Khan, and he said to him after patting patting as in thapthapana, after patting his back, that if you are going to work hard, you will be able to make it one day. You will be successful one day in the field of music. With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, Bismillah Khan got its big break. Big break as in it was a very big chance for Bismillah Khan. एक बहुत बड़ी opportunity थी Bismillah Khan के लिए. Because when you're going to a confined place, when you're going to a conference, there is a group of 50 people, 100 people who are watching you, but not more than that. But when you are on platforms such as internet, or when you are at a platform like radio station, a group of mass is hearing you at such platforms. As in before these social platforms were invented, we people were not that connected to each other. So many people were unknown, we were not knowing them. But today, because of these social platforms, because of internet, we know so many people today. We know about their lifestyles, about what they are doing, and each and everything just with the help of internet, because of the platform. So Bismillah Khan also got a bigger platform with the opening of All India Radio in 1938. It was a very big opportunity for Bismillah Khan, and Bismillah Khan became the most heard Shehnai player on radio. People loved his work, he was playing beautifully, and he was loved by many. When India gained independence on 15 August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet India on this occasion. The sound of Shehnai was considered very auspicious, very holy, bringing good fortune, good vibes. So this concept of independence for we people at that time was literally something that we were desiring for a very long time. So Shehnai was played by Bismillah Khan, and then afterwards Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he gave his famous speech Tryst with Destiny, Bhagya Se Sakshatkar. Bismillah Khan has given many performances in India as well as in abroad. Because of his the way he played Shehnai, he was very famous. He gave so many performances in India also, and he was loved abroad also. People used to call him for shows out there. His first trip to abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken back by this master player, that he gave him Persian carpets, gifted him Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Souvenirs as in when you would be going outside with your family for picnic or to another state to enjoy, you would be purchasing some sort of items related to that place, so that you can remember you went to their place and the memory of that particular place. Some people get their pictures framed, some purchase items related to that particular place. So some souvenirs of that particular place, the things that were special there, that King Zahir Shah gifted those things to Bismillah Khan, because he was so fascinated, he was astonished by the way Bismillah Khan played Shehnai. And he was not the only one who loved the way Shehnai was played by Bismillah Khan. There were many people who loved the music of Bismillah Khan. Director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed by his Shehnai that he even named a film after the instrument, that was Goonj Uthi Shehnai, and the film was hit. Another composition of Bismillah Khan, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster. Means it was very popular, it was famous, it broke all the records. It was loved by people so much, it was played so many times that it was a record breaking composition. Despite his huge success in the celluloid world is an old way of telling to the world of film, movies and all. So celluloid world means the world of movies, films and all. This is the old way of referring to the world of movie. So instead of great success of Bismillah Khan in this world, his ventures actions were limited to only two. One was Goonj Uthi Shehnai and second was Vikram Srinivasa's Kannad venture Sanadhi Apan. Bismillah Khan says that I cannot come to terms with the artificiality of this glamour world. It shows that he was a very grounded person and he could not match up to the levels of this film industry. So he says this thing with emphasis as in putting pressure. He was telling that though his work was loved by people there also, he could not continue with that sort of environment, people, and that place was not for him. He was a very grounded person and he could not live in that glamorous world. He could not match up to the level. He was a genuine one, and generally we do know that whatever we are seeing in this glamour industry is never exact, is never correct. It is all edited. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Means he got many awards because of his work. He got recognition also. Many people recognized him and he got many awards also just because of his work. He was a brilliant Shehnai player. He became the first Indian to be invited at Lincoln Central Hall, that is in United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival and in the Osaka Trade Fair. He became so well known in the world outside. He was so popular among people. He became so popular worldwide that an auditorium in Tehran was named after the name of Bismillah. It was named as Tahar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. So you can understand by this thing only that he was so famous worldwide. National awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, all were conferred to him. Conferred means that given to him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded with India's highest civilian award, that is Bharat Ratna, with the coveted award, means popular award, resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, means his eyes were sparkling at that moment with happiness the time he got this award. All he said was, teach your children music. It is the richest tradition of our country. Even the West is now coming to learn music. So by this he only wanted to say that be connected to your roots, be connected to your music. Our music represents us. Every state has their different sort of music, their language. He just wanted to tell people that be connected to your roots and learn what your tradition is teaching you. Bismillah Khan has travelled throughout the world, but his favorite places are Dumrao and Banaras. He always loved these two places. Wherever he was, he always kept on missing these two places. So Dumrao and Banaras, these two are the favorite places of Bismillah Khan. A student of Bismillah Khan once said to him that you kindly come to USA and open a Shehnai school here. I will replicate all the temples and everything of Banaras there. मैं सारे के सारे टेम्पल, सारे के सारे मंदिरों की एग्जैक्ट कॉपी जो है आपकी यूएसए में बनवा दूंगा. आप बस यहाँ पे आकर एक स्कूल खोल लीजिए और यहीं पे रहने लग जाइए, यहीं पे सबको टीचिंग देने लग जाइए. टू दिस द रिप्लाई ऑफ बिस्मिल्लाह खान वॉज, विल यू बी एबल टू ट्रांसपोर्ट रिवर गंगा फ्रॉम इंडिया टू यूएसए? This was the question of Bismillah Khan. From this you can understand that he was in love with his country, he was in love with his native place and he was a true Hindustani. He denied this opportunity of going to USA and settling there. He denied to the child just by asking that okay, you will be able to transport the temples, you will be able to replicate the temples. Replicate means copy. As in movies you would have seen, you know, that sets are made, they are artificial, they are not real. The same way he said that I will copy the temples so that you will feel that you are in India. But Bismillah Khan's reply was, will you be able to transport river Ganga from India to USA? and that's quite not possible. How you are going to transport a river from a country to another one, and that too so far? Bismillah Khan said that whenever he is in a foreign country, he is always wishing to come back to India. Whenever he is in India and he is in Bombay, he is always wishing to go back to Banaras and Dumrao, and he is always wishing to have the matha of there. Matha as in lassi. He always loves to go back to his native place. He loves his native place. He loves India, and he is not wishing to settle down anywhere at any cost. And so whenever he is in a foreign country, he wishes to come back to India. Whenever he is in India, he is in Mumbai, he wishes to go to Banaras, back to Banaras, and enjoy the essence of river Ganga there. And whenever he is in Banaras, he wishes to go back to Dumrao and enjoy the matha of that particular place. So if the question will be asked to you that how you can say that Bismillah Khan was a true Hindustani, this paragraph number 12 is the correct answer for this question. We can say that Bismillah Khan is a true Hindustani with the example that when his student said him that you shift to USA and open a Shehnai school there, Bismillah Khan counter questioned him that will he be able to transport river Ganga from India to Banaras, and he said that whenever he is in a foreign country, he is always longing to go back to India. Whenever he is in Mumbai, he is longing back to go to Banaras and enjoy the essence, the feel of river Ganga. And when he is in Banaras, he wishes to go back to Dumrao and enjoy the matha. He is a true Hindustani by heart, and we can say all these things with these examples. Okay. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of India's rich cultural heritage. So with the example of his life, we can easily understand that a devout Muslim like him, he was a Muslim, can so naturally play Shehnai at Hindu temples. He was in love with river Ganga. He used to love Banaras. That is also a place that is related to Hindu activities, and there are so many Hindu temples out there, but yet he loved the place. He wanted to go there. So with all these examples, we can say that yes, he was actually representing the rich culture of India. The message that India gives, unity in diversity, can be seen in the life of Bismillah Khan. So we saw that a devout Muslim like him was regularly able to play Shehnai at Kashi Vishwanath temple, and he never discriminated among anything. He followed his religion as well as he had love for India. He was proud of being a Hindustani, and he loved the places as well. He loved river Ganga, the essence, the feel of river Ganga. He invented so many new tunes. The essence of river Ganga used to give him peace. So all these things we have studied in this chapter. When we have studied that Pungi was banned by Aurangzeb, it had a very shrill and bad sound. We studied how Shehnai was named. It was played in the court of a Shah and was played by a barber, that is Nai. Combiningly, it is known as Shehnai. Then we studied that Bismillah Khan, as a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan used to play Gilli Danda at a nearby pond in Dumrao. He used to sing Chaita, and afterwards local Maharaja of that place was giving him a laddu of 1.25, was giving him a laddu as big as 1.25 kg. Then we came to know that his paternal ancestors, his grandfather, father, these all were also very well known Shehnai players. We came to know in the next paragraph number 5, that his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house, and he was so fascinated by the Shehnai of Alibag that he started taking Shehnai lessons from him, and he also started learning Shehnai. And his favorite spots were the bank of river Ganga, Balaji temple, and the temple of Mangala Maiya. He used to sit there and practice Shehnai for hours. Later on, we came to know that when he went to Allahabad music conference with his maternal uncle Ali Bagh, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted and said that if you'll work hard, you'll be able to make it till there. Next, we came to know that he played Shehnai and greeted India on the eve of independence. And first time Shehnai was played by Bismillah Khan after we got independence. Then the speech was given by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Tryst with Destiny was the name of speech. Bismillah Khan was very well known in India as well as in the foreign countries. His first trip was to Afghanistan, from where he got Persian carpet and many more gifts as well. Film director Vijay Bhatt named a film after hearing his Shehnai, and that was named as Goonj Uthi Shehnai, and he also made even more famous compositions, but his work was limited to 2 only in this glamour world. He says that he cannot come to the artificiality of this glamour world. He was a very grounded person and he was not able to work in this industry. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. He was known by he was known worldwide and he got many awards also. In 2001, he got the highest civilian award, that is Bharat Ratna. When a student of him said to him that kindly come to USA and shift here and teach us and we will replicate the temples of Banaras there, he simply denied that, will you be able to transport river Ganga also there? So he basically denied for this thing, and his life is a perfect example. This was a summary of this lesson in short. Next video will be for the lesson The Little Girl, lesson number 3 of the same book Beehive. If the video was informative, do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.